He hasn't handled himself in a way that an innocent person would handle themselves.
Prince Andrew strongly denies all the allegations of sexual assault made against him. Now this man wants him to stand by his words.
Please come to the United States, tell us what you know, and clear your name before a committee.
Suhas Subramanyam sits on a congressional committee looking into Jeffrey Epstein's crimes.
And do you understand that there are videos and images that are in those files?
That's my understanding, yes.
And he believes there are many questions for the prince yet to answer.
I wouldn't be surprised if Prince Andrew's name comes up again.
What are you calling for Prince Andrew to do here? What is the committee hoping he will agree to?
Yeah, I hope Prince Andrew will come to our committee and testify about everything he knows, both his associations with Jeffrey Epstein, as well as any of the activities Jeffrey Epstein participated in, and his knowledge of the whole, what I call criminal enterprise that involves sex trafficking underage girls. And this would be an opportunity for Prince Andrew to clear his name and to come before lawmakers here who are investigating this matter. And I think an opportunity for him to kind of move this forward and get this story off of him. So if he did nothing wrong, then he should come and testify before a committee.
Does the committee have the power to compel him to appear?
You know, he's a foreign national, and so we're very limited in our ability to compel him to do anything, really. But again, you know, we offer different venues for him to be able to tell his side of the story. He can come and talk to us sort of in private or in a deposition style meeting. We've done that with other people. Or if he wants to come and do a public hearing, I think we'd be happy to do that. Certainly, there's many members of the committee who want to see him here and want to hear what he has to say.
We've heard a lot of kind of new details coming out and reinforcing details that Virginia Giuffre had said when she was alive, that in her biography. What was your reaction when you saw some of the kind of those details and the abuse that she suffered?
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't surprised, and unfortunately, you know, Jeffrey Epstein had a lot of associates, and many of them were either helping helping by being complicit in his actions or participating in these sexual assaults of underage women. And so, you know, Prince Andrew had a very close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. It's not surprising to see his name pop up again.
Do you think there was a financial relationship between them?
I think so. Again, what we're trying to get right now is all the evidence. I like to go where the evidence takes me, right? So if it takes me to several Democrats that I've known over the years, then so be it, right? I just want to get to the truth. And in this case, you know, we've heard different names and different financial associations. And one thing we know is that Jeffrey Epstein had, you know, a personal life. He had his criminal behavior, and then he had his business associations. And the three were very much intertwined. He used his sex trafficking to get business deals and get favorable treatment and get favors done for him on the business side. And he used his kind of personal dealings and friends to help with his sex trafficking. And so it was sort of a triangle of activity that was all related.
Do you think it's possible Jeffrey Epstein was blackmailing Prince Andrew?
I think it is possible, and it seems like this was him and Ghislaine Maxwell's sort of reasoning behind some of what they were doing. Otherwise, other stuff they were doing as well, you know, was because of, you know, their nature. But part of it was because they were trying to blackmail people, essentially, by exploiting these young women. And so I do think that, you know, it's very likely and very possible that Prince Andrew was being blackmailed.
Do you think the royal family is trying to get ahead of the narrative of this story because they think that more allegations about Prince Andrew are about to come out?
You know, that's a good question. I mean, this isn't sort of the activities of a side that doesn't have anything to hide, really. You know, again, we're giving Prince Andrew the opportunity, though, to clear his name. And I think the royal family would want that as well if he did nothing wrong. If he did do something wrong, then, you know, obviously, you know, he may not want to testify under oath here, but we would like to give him at least the opportunity to do so and at least talk to us about what he knows and help us in our investigation.
What do you understand is in the files that hasn't so far been released?
There's a couple things that we're looking for based on what victims have told us. One, we're looking for bank records, and so some of that isn't necessarily in the FBI's possession. Some of that is actually in the possession of banks, really. We're trying to get that information because many victims have told us to follow the money. The files that we keep on asking to be released, though, do have many names of people who were either helping Jeffrey Epstein in his crimes or who are participating in the criminal activity that he was condoning and facilitating. And so we want to know all the names. And again, it may be people that are Democrats that may be inconvenient for me as a Democrat, or maybe people who are close to the president. And maybe this is why the president is covering this up, but we just want to know. And what this is really about is this is about making sure that rich and powerful people don't get away with these heinous crimes, regardless of how much money they have or how much power they have. We want every single American to be brought to justice if they do terrible crimes like exploiting young girls.
And do you understand that there are videos and images that are in those files?
That's my understanding, yes. And again, we're not looking to release things that would compromise or out victims who don't want their name out there. What we're trying to do, though, is find the names of people who were complicit in Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. Who were people covering up for when they were covering up for Jeffrey Epstein, right? Why was Jeffrey Epstein able to commit suicide in prison? Why is Ghislaine Maxwell being transferred now to a minimum security prison and potentially getting pardoned by this president? What is the president covering up for? We just want to know the answers to all of those things. It's interesting because the president was asking those same questions over the last several years, and now he has the power to release these files, and yet he's not.
Do you think the government shutdown is convenient for President Trump because it prevents this process moving forward?
To be clear, just because the government is shut down doesn't mean that the House of Representatives can't come into session and do its business. But what is convenient is that the Speaker of the House, probably under the direction of the president, because he takes direction from the president, has not let us come in to, one, sign the 218th signature by the new member who wants to force a vote on the Epstein files release, and two, have that actual vote, which has to be within 5 legislative days of that signature. And so they've used this as an excuse to essentially buy themselves time on this Epstein case. But I will tell you that we will not let this go. We will continue to pursue justice because we owe it to the victims and to every single girl and woman in the United States.
What is your message directly to Prince Andrew if he's watching this?
Please come to the United States, tell us what you know, and clear your name before our committee. We would love to have you, and if you did nothing wrong, then come to our committee. And if you did do something wrong, we still want to know the information about what you know and what other people may have done as well. And so he has an opportunity to clear his name. And so I would ask Prince Andrew to come and let's talk.
And an obligation.
He has an obligation too, because again, a lot of victims are still feeling the scars of what happened when Epstein was committing his crimes.
How do you think Prince Andrew has handled himself through this process?
He hasn't handled himself in a way that an innocent person would handle themselves. He's been very defensive, and I think something may have happened. And he was a very close associate with Jeffrey Epstein, and victims have pointed to him as someone who perpetrated crimes. And so, I think he's handled himself the way, a guilty person would. I wouldn't be surprised if Prince Andrew comes up again.
When you said his name may come up again, what specifically did you mean by that?
Yeah, I think when we see the files, I wouldn't be surprised if Prince Andrew's name comes up again, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were other victims as well who encountered Prince Andrew. But again, I let the evidence tell the story, and many of the victims have said that if the files are released and the bank records are in our possession, we're able to see the names. Many of the names that we've already heard will come up over and over again, and so I wouldn't be surprised if Prince Andrew is one of those names.
And finally, you're encouraging Prince Andrew to come and testify, but he could do that virtually from the UK.
Yeah, Prince Andrew, I would be amenable to having Prince Andrew testify virtually. He doesn't have to come physically to the United States. It's not something we do often, but again, I'm willing to be flexible because I think his testimony would be important. Obviously, the rest of the committee would have to agree to that, but I would imagine they would be agreeable to that.